If you're not familiar with integrating Q-SYS USB bridging alongside acoustic echo cancellation, network video streams, and audio I/O into your collaboration space, it might sound a little confusing at first. That's why I'll be using a translator to explain everything in layman's terms.
That's me. He's gonna talk marketing, I'll talk like a human.
High-impact collaboration rooms are some of the most common applications for Q-SYS system.
You know that room at work where everyone sits around a big table and talks to people on a screen? We're talking about that.
Whether it's a small meeting space, up to training rooms, lecture halls, or executive boardrooms, these collaboration spaces have elevated experience expectations and therefore similarly elevated requirements for audio, video, and control.
Translation, all these rooms should be cool. Sometimes cool spaces are tricky.
Hey. Q-SYS proudly supports all of the leading UC collaboration providers with certified vetted solutions for Microsoft Teams rooms, Zoom rooms, and Google Meet, and even offers complete UC bundles for some of these solutions.
Their stuff is cool and reliable. Our stuff is cool and reliable. So it all works out nicely.
These dedicated platform rooms and other rooms might also incorporate BYOD functionality to allow a participant to bridge the room's AV system to their local collaboration application.
That's BYOD. You can bring your own B later, all right? Save it for Friday, buddy. BYOD is bring your own device. So basically, you can walk in with your laptop, hook it up to the room, and use the room's mics and loudspeakers and cameras rather than the crummy ones that are on your laptop.
Regardless of the type of room, this functionality is achieved via a USB bridge to transport your Q-SYS room's high-end collaboration cameras to your device or in-room compute.
Translation, all you gotta do is plug in a USB cable. That's it. And did you say compute? Is it not a computer anymore? What happened?
No, compute is correct.
No, who changed that? It's a computer.
Any number of Q-SYS devices can provide USB bridging functionality, including your Q-SYS core processor, dedicated I/O bridge device, network video endpoint device, and even certain models of touchscreen devices.
You got a lot of options here, folks, all right? Just use the one that is closest to your compute.
I hate you. Regardless of the type of room or the device that you're using to provide USB bridging, adding that functionality to your system is the same process. All right, show them how it's done,
Yep.
layman.
Layman, it's layman.
You're a layman.
Not lay, it's layman. Okay, so find the device whose USB port you're using in the inventory and go to its properties. Here, we're using the NV32H, which is operating as both the core for the room, a local HDMI switcher, and the source for our USB bridge. In the properties, there's a category called USB bridging, which is disabled by default. First, let's enable the USB video bridge. This creates a new component for our inventory item called the USB video bridge, which we can add to our schematic. The MediaCast pin on this component can receive a wire either directly from a Q-SYS network camera or from a MediaCast router that allows you to choose from any of up to 255 possible cameras in your system. There's no output from the USB video bridge in Q-SYS because its output is the physical USB cable that delivers the camera video to your PC. You can access it the same way you would access any USB camera on your PC, and it should usually identify itself as the default USB camera to be used by any of your conferencing applications. Next, let's look at the audio side of the USB bridge. We can choose to enable either a mono speakerphone connection, a stereo sound card connection, or both. Adding these to your device will once again give you new input and output components in the inventory, so let's drag those into the schematic too. Even though these are represented by multiple components, all the audio and video is still transported over that single USB cable. These simply represent different types of audio that your PC might use. The USB speakerphone in represents the far-end caller's voice that comes in via the conferencing application. You'd want to wire this into your room's loudspeaker signal path so you can hear the far-end caller over the high-quality loudspeakers in your room rather than the PC or laptop's onboard speakers. The USB speakerphone out represents all the audio we want to send to the far-end caller, which will certainly include the room's microphones after they've been processed by acoustic echo canceling, but it may also include other program material in the room if desired. The USB sound card, on the other hand, represents the rest of the PC's audio. This would include the other applications running on the PC, like presentation software, video players, web browsers, etc. all of this arrives in Q-SYS as a stereo source, once again letting you use the room's loudspeakers for your PC's content. It's less common to send anything back to the PC via the USB sound card out, but there are plenty of installations that might choose to do so for recording purposes or streaming considerations. You can choose to name your USB bridge, which will change how it identifies itself to your PC. If you look for these inputs and outputs in your system's sound options, or in your conferencing application's video sources, you'll see them notated by the name you choose in the Q-SYS design. When you're configuring your system on the same PC you're going to connect to, you might get a little turned around, considering that the output from Q-SYS becomes the inputs to your PC and vice versa. Remember that the Q-SYS design thinks about everything from the core's perspective, even when you're building it on the PC. Other things to note. If you're using a Zoom room, there's a particular property to be aware of called Zoom compatibility, which you should be sure to enable. And regardless of the application that you're using, you may find that you want to manage that application from Q-SYS or control other things within your system based on the activity of the conferencing application. For instance, you may want to set the room's lights and cameras to a default setting every time a conference call begins. You can communicate with the application that's running by grabbing the HID conferencing component from the device you're using. This, once again, uses the same USB cable as everything else and allows you to start, stop, or mute the conferencing session, as well as provide you with LEDs to indicate when the call is in session, when it's muted, when you're receiving an incoming call, and whether or not a USB cable is currently connected. You could use these LEDs to drive any number of control logic to automate the system to react to your user's conferencing activity. For more information on this HID conferencing component, check out our quick start video on the subject. Oh, welcome back.
I thought you said I was supposed to do the hard parts.
You are, but integrating a USB bridge into the software is just that easy.
Ah. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Translation, it's Friday. You want to USB bridge into my belly.